Thank you.
So, I'm non-binary.
Dragon Age is the perfect representation of the red letter media meme.
How does it feel to have lived long enough to see all of your favorite franchises go down in flames?
Feels great.
I've been a fan of Dragon Age since Origins. I remember the major selling point of the game. This is a spiritual successor to Baldur's Gate. And I thought to myself, oh man, I heard that that's a legendary game. Everything Dragon Age Origins was memorable. The characters, the dialogue, the voice actors were amazing. Kate Mulgrew as Flemeth was absolutely iconic.
Before I go, a word of advice. We stand upon the precipice of change. The world fears the inevitable plummet into the abyss. Watch for that moment, and when it comes, do not hesitate to leap. It is only when you fall that you learn whether you can fly.
Cheap advice from a dragon.
We all have our challenges.
We're going to regret bringing her here.
Regret is something I know well. Take care not to cling to it, to hold it so close that it poisons your soul. When the time comes for your regrets, remember me.
2,000 years later.
Emmerich, you clearly find talking about dragons boring.
What? How? Who doesn't like dragons?
Aren't you curious why Tassh likes them as much as you like necromancy?
The question crossed my mind.
And maybe Emmerich could help demystify magic, Tassh.
See what I mean? That is not how you speak to adults. That is how you speak to a toddler when you are teaching them to share their Optimus Prime toy with their little brother.
Her other big role, arguably could be bigger, was Captain Janeway in Voyager.
She was also Big Red in Orange is the New Black, show that convinced liberal white women they might be bisexual.
Tim Curry as Renald Howell.
As are your allies. It appears it will be civil war after all, despite the Darkspawn. Pity.
Best known as Dr. Frankenfooter from Rocky Horror Picture Show, and a myriad of other characters. I miss when my queer actors were not raving lunatic activists on Twitter, but brilliant performers / singers that didn't put their sexuality or lifestyle in your face. You knew that they were gay or whatever, and you didn't care. He had Freddie Mercury energy. The golden age of when your gay people were talented and they weren't obnoxious. Take me back, Clarence.
Clarence! Clarence! Help me, Clarence, please! Please!
Then there was the Awakening DLC that expanded upon the story of Dragon Age even further. Dragon Age 2, that was a rushed mess. Literally, I vomited from the reused assets and stages during my second playthrough. And Inquisition, I didn't really gel with it, and I didn't have time to really get into it. Adult life. But that was another time in gaming. It was the golden age of BioWare, except for Jade Empire. That one fell kind of flat. And let's be real here, the BioWare of that day and age is long gone. I don't know what in God's name we have, but it's borderline regarded. On June 6th, I was oblivious to the information that surrounded Dragon Age, other than it was coming out. And as a fan, I tend to avoid spoilers for games I'm interested in, like the plague.
Dragon Age, Veilguard, game director who describes himself as a queerosexual gendermancer, claims game is inherently queer.
What the hell is even that?
Daddy, chill.
Jesus H. Christ. Is that an actual direct quote? With a title like that, I can't help but feel so very tired. And had I seen this beforehand, I would have already been ready for what Dragon Age was. Another skin suit game paraded around in front of me as I grinded my teeth into dust. Then somebody screamed, "He's a bigot!"
Bruce detailed, as a queer trans woman, I have a perspective on the game that not everyone has. Dragon Age has long been a place where LGBTQ plus AI, spirit, and other things, folks.
That is such a long title.
Kids see people like themselves represented respectfully. It's inherently very queer And it's such a rare thing for marginalized communities to have representation where we feel proud and powerful in how we are depicted.
Why can't I be Markiplier? I just want to play games and go, look out, kibbles and bits, whatever the hell he says for millions of dollars. I'm serious, you better edit that out.
Whenever progressives come into a position of power in entertainment, they always self-insert every single time. Dragon Age Origins was so well written, it's easy to get invested in the story and the characters. The issue is, when the weird theater kids grow up and start making these games themselves, representation is the complete focus. That's when things go off the rail. If you watch an interview of the original BioWare devs talking about Dragon Age Origins, there's so much focus on the story and the gameplay, not sexuality or marginalized groups in a dark fantasy. It was about the story. Groups of people trying to save the world from ending.
It's so deeply meaningful for so many. I often get emotional when I think about what it would have meant for a younger version of myself to see someone like her in the game, and as a hero, no less.
Girl power!
I hope we could be a safe place for our queer players to know they're not alone, that they are brilliant and worthy, that they are not only welcome but celebrated.
Why do we only celebrate one group of people? Out of my just idle curiosity, Stu. I know this isn't in the script, but for God's sakes, can something just exist outside of the realm of your sexuality and your fifi?
This reminds me of the black woman from Wicked rambling about her queerness and how she brings something to the character no one else does because she's black and queer.
Intention is not to diminish anyone else's version of Elphaba.
Yeah, of course not.
Ever. But the intention is to allow her to show up as me in my body.
Right.
And I loathe to make it about this, but it is what it is. As a black woman who is queer, who shows up in this way,
absolutely,
there's something that I have that many other Elphabas don't have.
And it's kind of like, what does it matter? You're playing a character, not yourself.
When a person's sexuality or gender ideology has to be injected into an IP, annoyance and mediocrity ensues.
Stop him!
I mean, when I watch those old Dragon Age trailers, they don't come off as inherently queer to me. It also shows the storytelling of the original BioWare. One trailer called The Calling came out before the game even launched, and it wasn't until players finished the game that they understood the deeper meaning behind the trailer, The Calling, which then made it even more badass and tragic. Instead, we're celebrating little alphabet people again.
The Shadow Dragons say there are people who use they instead of he or she. They're not men or women. And I like how it feels when I imagine myself that way.
Please, I want to die.
Anyway, after this article went live, the game director locked their account.
Interest and it's gone.
BioWare Dragon Age has been renamed to Dragon Age. Wait, it was Dreadwolf. New gameplay trailer to debut on June the 11th. I'm hoping for a great game, free of modern politics. Uh-oh. On June 9th, Dragon Age the Veilguard official trailer was launched. This is when I became aware of the nightmare that awaited me. The reception was less than stellar. The art direction at the time was an issue most people had. It looked like a goddamn MOBA. Little did we know that was just the tip of the representation iceberg that was sinking the good ship nostalgia. The trailer itself reeked of a soullessness you can't quite define or put your finger on, that has become so ubiquitous with AAA gaming today. Maybe it's the modernized cover of the classic David Bowie song, We Could Be Heroes.
And between us and a pack of demons.
Driving home that the alphabet people were not only welcome but celebrated and that they could be heroes, playing in the background with the stupid hero shooter introduction poses for each character that was feeding into my piss poor attitude and reception for the game that was shared by at least 200,000 people who saw it. But I wasn't alone in my sentiments. The trailer backlash was so significant the game director removed BLM and any other virtue signaling badges from their bio.
Oh no! What happened? Oh no! How terrible! That's just awful! How terrible! Oh no!
Dragon Age director deletes flags from BLM and bio as soon as Dragon Age trailer backlash hit.
Basically, when these people realized, whoa, not everybody loves this. Uh-oh, time to hide. People are mad. It's the usual. Edit that out.
On September 16th, the character creator was revealed. And the best way to describe my move was Steve Buscemi cat.
He, him, she, her, and they, them, and then your gender is man, woman, non-binary. Love that. Love the inclusivity. Top surgery scars are also included in this for all of our trans and non-binary rooks out there. I absolutely was blown away by this. It's beautiful to see the inclusion in the game and to see yourself represented.
Right.
Breaking Dragon Age the Veilguard character customization features have been revealed. You can call yourself a Lamborghini and choose they, them, binary pronouns. But that's not all. Players can now customize female characters' chest and add top surgery scars. Thoughts?
The original video was 9 to 10 minutes of gushing about hair physics, representation, and surgery scars. In a world with magic, one can't help but wonder why surgery would be needed to change your gender or your appearance if you can literally transform into a dragon or raise the dead.
I was using my brain again, and everybody knows that common sense is a bigoted offense.
Oddly enough, bigger breasts and bigger butts were not on the menu for the slider. Well, that just don't make sense.
Look what the homosexuals have done to me.
Have these people even seen real women?
They've seen real ugly women. That's what they've seen. And then if they see an attractive woman, they'll say something like, it's an unrealistic beauty standard. Yeah, the mark of a loser. All right? When a guy looks at a dude who's ripped, we don't sit there and go, it's an unrealistic beauty standard. We go, we got to hit the gym.
Oh no, gooners can't make big breasted characters in the game.
Yeah, but I can give her a bulge. That's where things are now.
You stupid motherfucker.
Dragon Age the Veilguard. Can I cut off my boobas? Yes. Can I add cellulite? Yes. Can I add vitiligo? Yeah.
Why is vitiligo there? Let's just move on. Finally, a game for Michael Jackson.
Can I enlarge my chest and have thin hips to reflect my anatomy as a woman? No. You should be ashamed of yourself. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Let's check the director. Oh no.
Try to edit this out for YouTube.
Within 4 days, games journalism gave Dragon Age the Concord treatment, and IGN was leading the charge.
The hair in Dragon Age Veilguard. Oh, hearts emojis.
Oh boy, look at that hair.
Look at that hair. Like, look at it. This is Dragon Age the Veilguard, and if you're familiar at all with the series, you know that the last game's hair physics were not great. Like, really not great. The team at BioWare heard a lot of the criticisms and spent like a ton of time and effort to make sure the hair would look good this time around. And for a game where you can create your own character with a myriad of different hairstyles.
How's the gameplay?
Never mind that. BioWare's teamed up with Vidal Sassoon, you bigot.
The character creator in Dragon Age Veilguard is amazing. We have more looks at what our staff made in Dragon Age, the Veilguard character creator. Yum yum.
The character creator in Dragon Age the Veilguard is incredible. There are so many options and sliders, from the usuals like hair color and style, eye shape, noses, all the way down to things like bulge size. Vitiligo, we got that. Heterochromia, of course.
It don't matter. None of this matters.
I hate American journalism. I can't wait for it to... AI will take your job. Edit that out.
While IGN was busy shilling the character creator for Dragon Age, Japanese gamers were in Monster Hunter creating characters from anime, video games, and movies. The Japanese were even accurately recreating their pets because the character and creator in Monster Hunter is leaps and bounds better than Dragon Age that we're pretending is the new hot. My God, let me take that back.
Dragon Age is obviously far superior, this chest guard.
This post was another massive L by IGN, which they collect though. But at the end of the day, they still got paid, so who's the real loser? That would probably be me. This post also reminded people of how far the character design in Dragon Age had fallen since previous iterations. In my opinion, the Qunari design peaked in Dragon Age 2. It was tolerable in Inquisition, but the designs they had for the newest game turned a warrior race into as big of a joke as the game itself.
Dragon Age has ruined the design of Qunari.
And Darkspawn.
BioWare needs to stop constantly changing the designs of the Dragon Age series.
You're right, Tyler. Too bad they won't listen. This is par for the course. The game is now in the hands of people who lean hard left. You can't expect them to know how to design a warrior race of people without covering them in bright colors and jewelry. These are the types of people who find masculinity problematic unless it's a woman. Oh my god, the irony.
They haven't seen us yet. We can run.
Hey!
Huh?
I brought her down. She's mine by right.
Who are you?
Makara.
Mara Namra Benarie Bala. A Tashmar Tarost, a Sintarala. Juto.
Yunasi Bishida.
Tarala.
As the game circled the drain before it even launched, some assumed the blowback for Dragon Age was because of Grums.
You guys do realize Dragon Age Veilguard is rated M, right? If you, as a grown-ass adult, can't get past the fact that there is an option deep in the character customization for top surgery scars, then I can't fathom how difficult your day-to-day existence is.
Cut it out, caveman. That option is not deep in the character customization. Nothing here is deep. It's a slider, my dude. Left or right, left or right. What's wrong with you?
Don't buy the game. Done. Go play something else. You're not fighting a battle alongside Grums. You're just wasting your time. Well,
guess what, K-Med? It seems like people took a listen, because it's not flying off the shelf.
Bring up Grums as if everyone who disagrees with BioWare's awful marketing of this game must be doing it because of him. Out of here. BioWare has chosen to showcase and market this game on a bunch of features gamers don't care about.
Hallelujah.
That is an indicator they are more focused on virtue signaling than selling the actual game. Not to mention the changes they made that have pushed away longtime fans of Dragon Age, long before the character creator was shown.
Epic Mike is right. I know more about the character's sexuality, representation, and the character creator than I know what the story is about. And it's done an amazing job of letting gamers new to the franchise and longtime fans know you will not be escaping from gender ideology in your fantasy role-playing game today, little mister.
Dragon Age Veilguard is everything that repels me from modern AAA gaming. Marketing overemphasizes diversity details for controversy. News calling it Game of the Year contender because of innovative DEI features and story, while acknowledging dull combat. The gameplay does not look fun at all. I guess I'm not the target audience, so back to Black Myth Wukong, Game of the Year in Indies.
I could read pages of tired gamers that the gaming media and ideologues would call bigots or ists and phobes, but we'll just move on to more shilling.
This completely sold me on mages in Dragon Age the Veilguard. PC Gamer! It's so good!
This game is so generic. Nothing special or innovative. It's homogenous, modern-day mage gameplay that you have seen before and done better elsewhere. Bravissimo, Game of the Year.
I mean, it's great!
I felt a neuron activate in me. The moment I saw the mage in Dragon Age of Veilguard's latest trailer teleport dodge out of an attack like it was nothing. Mages always bring the flashiest spells to the fight. But if I get to Dark Souls dodge roll with magic, I will not play another class. BioWare reveals all the ways Dragon Age of Veilguard evolves relationships, and its steamiest romances too. First look with IGN.
You could totally get an AI to write this trash.
As we edge closer to the Dragon Age Veilguard, there's been an overwhelmingly positive reaction from those who have had a chance to preview the game. An exhaustive character creative, slick combat, and expansive scenery definitely left us excited to get our hands on Veilguard this October. But if you're a Dragon Age fanatic, you may be wondering about the incredibly vital thing. Who do we get to kiss? As part of our continued IGN First coverage, we sat down with the game's creator, Corinne Bruges, to talk romance and relationships as a vital part of the game.
Blah, 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 blah. Different flavors of romance. You want
a buff gym rat, Tassh. A heroic pet dad, Darwin. An elegant older fellow with the emotional support skeleton, Emmerich, of course. There are 7 companions total, and yes, you get to smooch all of them.
Only if you're bisexual or queer in the game. If you're heterosexual, you get like 2 romance options. I'm spoiling the video for you.
We really don't want to keep them relatable, more grounded. Some of them are quite sensual, some of them are more physical, some are more romantic, some are more spicy, says the game director. Oh, the variety of the game's romances, you may or may not wake up in a coffin. Oh my god, I hate gaming journalism.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
PC Gamer, playing 6 hours of Dragon Age Veilguard gave me the faith its trailer couldn't. This is the BioWare comeback fans want.
Previously on
PC Gamer.
It's hard to complain about hero shooter fatigue when Concord looks this good.
Lies! Lies! Oh, it's Greg Miller. He likes it. That's a stamp of approval if I ever saw one.
I was very happy when Tassh said that they are a they. I liked seeing them lean into that. So many of the Kind of Funny audience are non-binary or trans, and over the years, as that for some reason has had to become an issue on the grand scale of things.
I wonder why.
I have been so blessed to know you, non-binary best friends, to know you, trans best friends.
He's kind of gay.
Demonize you. I hope that fiction like this on a mainstream AAA platform helps. I hope that, movies and literature and everything else is able to give a window in to what this is. Shockingly, this isn't a big fucking deal to...
Yeah, the game is selling about as well as Razor Blade butt plugs because it's not a big deal and everybody's cool with it. Greg Miller, you're a great ally.
I've played about 7 hours of Dragon Age Veilguard. If it maintains this level of quality in terms of story, gameplay, and graphics, and choice...
Okay.
This could easily be my game of the year. Let's talk about it.
Let's see some other classic hits from Miller. Thriller Miller.
Life is Strange, True Colors is my current game of the year. Come get the review. And me in the game's newscast. Also, Starfield, 2023 Game of the Year. Roll your dice and glue your sticks together somewhere else, nerd. When's the last time everyone on the Kind of Funny Gamescast platinumed the game we're reviewing? Spider-Man 2 is a delight in my new game of the year.
Kind of Funny failed on YouTube, being a whitelisted channel, and that speaks volumes about how out of touch they are with the average gamer. When my ass stays getting pulled from recommended, and I still somehow reach more people.
I'm losing my mind, dude. I hate this video already.
I'm suspicious now. IGN has been totally advertising this game by telling us how amazing very basic things are. Look how good the hair is. Look how good this really, really basic character creator is. Where's the body slider? Barely changes anything. Something is fishy here. While Dragon Age and Veilguard companions will form their own relationships, it sounds like we'll still be able to interfere with them. They might come to you for advice, and I can't guarantee you'll give them good advice.
I don't even want to be involved in my real friends' love lives. Why in the world would I want to do it in a game? What's wrong with you?
Dragon Age creative director confirms to Game Rant that the game's entire cast is chronologically pansexual.
That's just great. This game is the Portland, Oregon of dark fantasy.
October 17th, Nerd interviewed a playtester for Dragon Age. The video was called I Talked to Dragon Age, the Veilguard playtester, and he confirmed my worst fears. What a lovely title. Nothing but good things can come of this.
So you said that it's much worse than we think. What can you say about it? That why for you? Why is it so much worse?
The one thing that I was like baffled by it, the Kunari.
Mm-hmm.
When I was talking with her, first of all, you need to understand that this is fantasy game.
Yes.
Our words, it's different than their words.
Exactly.
For example, she told me that I am a non-binary person. How the hell that a fantasy game in like Thedas have the word non-binary? I don't like men and I don't like women. I identify myself as non-binary.
Just like that.
And that's just like that.
Not even a new word. Like, they didn't even make up like a new word in lore.
Okay, if you are a heterosexual person,
yes,
and you want to have a romance with someone,
yeah,
guess what? For a male, I am a male, and I want to have a romance options with the females.
Yes,
I have either a dwarf or, you know, like a very ugly woman. The Twinter one.
Yeah, Neve, no, Neve or whatever.
It's
yeah.
either Neve or Scout Harden. And that's it. If you are not heterosexual, you can romance anyone you want. Anyone. Without anything for the Grey Warden. He basically a scout in the Grey Warden that he didn't fully finish his training, and now after we because we played in the Whiteout, the castle, in the Underfell. So we went there, and he was the one that decided the entire Grey Warden once again. And he is nobody.
So just a guy that is just new to the Grey Wardens gets to decide everything.
Yeah. Why? Because he is like have a different skin tone.
Guys are like in Inquisition, like Josephine and Colin. They're just they're just there to talk to them.
Yes, and basically, you know, like she don't know anything about the background. She don't know if they, you know, like she don't have a child. She don't have, she don't know who's the hero for Odin. There is none.
You cannot even ask any. Like, she doesn't say anything about that. She just like there.
She doesn't have any dialogue option to say anything about
you know.
Like a hero for Odin.
Everything the leakers shared worried many fans, and sadly, everything he said was true. I didn't share every clip, but the long and the short of it is, playtesting the game was pointless because all of his suggestions about the game were utterly ignored. Most likely, they just wanted to make sure it wasn't broken, and that was it.
Am I so out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
It gets much worse. Former and current BioWare Dragon Age writer mocks gamers and poo-pooed their feedback openly on social media, claims Veilguard companions are one absolute smoke show.
What? Where's the smoke show?
Well, gamers hate the new character designs. This shows how little they think of you. Don't buy games from developers that hate you. After mocking and insulting gamers who made his career, former lead writer of Dragon Age predictably goes protected.
Let's read those hot takes.
The female characters aren't hot enough. Yet because they've clued into the notion this is obviously incel behavior, they swapped out unattractive for masculine, and thus transgendered, because that's a framing which makes them seem political instead of porn brain. But we all know what they mean. And here I am recalling how this has been a thing ever since some dude whined 10 years ago about Cassandra actually being a man, posting over and over and over about her giant jaw, and posting phrenology pics to scientifically prove why his PP remains flaccid.
Sometimes I feel like the discourse around video gaming is getting so absolutely stupid that I can barely stand it on any level.
But let's just be real here, no matter how you frame it. This female character that's now non-binary looks like a dude. It looks like a black guy they painted blue and threw some horns on him.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
Ironically, women don't like ugly female characters either. I guess we have some femcells and chuds on our hands. Pull up the article.
New research on female video game characters uncovers a surprising twist. Oh no, what is it, Barry? Can a strong female character who's also highly sexualized inspire positive perceptions from players? Not necessarily, according to the new study. In communication research, researchers found that while strength in a female video game character might signal capability, doesn't counterbalance the negative impact of sexualization. But in the surprising twist, female participants, despite generally disliking highly sexualized characters, were more likely to choose these characters when given the opportunity to play stealth.
Because women are hypocrites. That's the bottom line. Women make fun of chicks uglier than them, and they hate women better looking than them. That's how they roll, even if the chick is digital.
The study shed light on why, even in today's gaming landscape, characters' designs matter, and how different types of interaction, from watching to playing, shape players' perception. A character's sexual appeal and strength both play a role in how players perceive them, but these perceptions shift depending on whether players are simply watching or actively engaging with the character.
Let's move on. Oh god, it's David again.
I'm in the process of finally shutting down my Twitter account, and yet I notice a fresh spat of angry mentions, these more clueless than the last. What could I have? I mentioned incels, so who should take notice but their sweaty palms, self-declared, emotional
support animal. Old men fighting with each other. It's so petty. Oh, this is the best part of the video.
I guess this also means a fresh bunch of chuds wandering over here to make fresh accounts just to object. The clever thing to do, you'd think, when incels are mentioned, but you aren't named, would be to not stand and identify yourself. But identities are important. I guess it's true.
I don't know why I read it as if it was Shakespearean, but I kind of feel like that's how that dude does it. Like, he gets at his computer in the morning, he's having his coffee and whatnot, he's drinking, and he's just typing away.
This guy calling displeased fans incels and chuds has the same energy as Jason Schreier doing it. Bro, we all know you were not a, and I quote, hashtag wizard in high school.
Actually, I don't care about the game very much, but I do like seeing you chuds get dunked on. Just wait until tonight, chuddies. You'll get dunked on. Totally dunked on.
David popped up again in a Bounding into Comics article.
The franchise creator, David Geider, I believe, dismisses critics who fear the Veilguard will become woke as effing tourists. Says they wander around looking to fixate on problems that don't exist.
Yeah, sure. All right.
Apparently, the usual suspects are upset at how woke the new Dragon Age is. And apparently, suddenly, the unexpected development in the series. Tourists. Yes, a fantasy game with real-life elements such as top surgery scars. In a game with magic, really? The identity politics because representation, real-life social issues in a game isn't immersive breaking at all. And is really necessary for a good game with a sense of escapism. A character creator that only reaches body proportions of a trans person could generally achieve because females such as myself with D cups can't create the character that I look like.
Oh boy, it's a woman who said this. Let's see how he handles it.
Did you follow me over here just to tell me all of this? How sweet. One, I suggest not taking character creation options you don't like. Poof. Problem solved.
She's saying she can't create a character like herself because she has big knockers. What are you doing, Dave?
He's gay! What an obsessively weird lens to look at everything through. Have you tried being less weird?
Oh, okay, David, so she's weird for this. He couldn't call her a chud because she's a woman and an incel, so he was like, he had his back to the wall.
Social has a point here. It's immersion breaking, but that's not the politically correct stance to have. And most game developers march in lockstep with the approved current thing.
Oh god, it's David again. Jesus Christ, dude.
I have to apologize to Blue Sky users for evidently attracting new users here with the sole intention of telling me how very fixated they are on transgender people. It's weird, but so are they, and apparently they have a lot of time in their hands, probably because they wander around looking to fixate on problems.
All right, that's it.
I will agree, hunting down this old dude to complain about Dragon Age or battle with him is a waste of your time. Like, for real. There's so many better things you can do. Like, if you can get offline and go outside, do it for me at least. I'm in the house doing this. For God's sakes, if I could find a small Asian child to take over for me like Nerdrotic did, I'd be out of here. But I disagree with him saying that the problem doesn't exist. One thing I've noticed lately about progressives and their viewpoints is this. Step 1. It's not really happening, you chud. Step 2. Yeah, it's happening, but it's not a big deal. Step 3. It's a good thing it's happening actually, you incel. And step 4, people freaking out about this are the real problem. And that's usually how it all rolls.
Let's move on. If you pull up David against Stu, I swear to Christ.
On October 18th, new gameplay for Dragon Age leaked from a now suspended account that was linking itself to Mr.Mattyplays.
There have been some new Dragon Age Veilguard footage featuring Tassh, a female Qunari companion.
The tolerant left Dragon Age fans went after Mr.Mattyplays with a religious fervor, blaming negative perceptions of the game on him for breaking NDA, as if these people ever gave a rat's ass about such a thing before.
By the way, Mr.Mattyplays broke the Dragon Age NDA and leaked gameplay footage to a friend who happens to have a very racist Twitter account. So yeah, good luck with this one.
What? Oh no! The fact people didn't give Mr.Mattyplays the benefit of the doubt truly amazes me. The dude is so milquetoast and adverse to saying anything or doing anything that would be perceived as even mean. So what would make you think that he just randomly happens to be friends with a massive racist? Look out, Mr.Mattyplays is an enthusiast.
He's a monster.
That's how these people think.
Look at them side by side and tell me that this isn't his rook.
My God, what brilliant detective work.
Mr.Mattyplays talking Dragon Age while also leaking the game to his Nazi friend. Hey cutie, this you from the leaked video being spread by you or one of your friends, quotation marks. Shame other companies saw who they trusted their content with. Couldn't give it 24 hours to just post a critical review. You had to show your phobe friend, or was it you directly? Hashtag Dragon Age.
It would be a shame if you lost your source of revenue that you worked on for half your life, my guy. Let me signal boost this in an attempt to make sure that you do.
Being claimed that a prominent reviewer not only leaked NDA footage under an alias, he then posted a video review of the game featuring identical custom character. Real Insider is back, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, you don't think this dude, if he actually did that himself, wouldn't be smart enough to make another save game with a different character, you effing goons? God, I've reached peak dystopian. I'm defending Mr.Mattyplays. The dude who said Fallout 4 was perfect.
I'm not going to respect the opinion of someone who breaks their NDA and gave their phobic friend game footage to spread around in people's Twitter replies, unsolicited, laughing my ass off. F all the way off with that nonsense.
Fluffy, no toys.
And honestly, I'm side-eyeing anyone who takes his review seriously, knowing what he did. LMAO. Can we be serious? This dude clearly has some weird vendetta against Veilguard.
Yeah, sure, he has a weird vendetta. He's been hating the game his whole life. People like this make a good case for being phobic.
Mr.Mattyplays tried to get in front of the mess, but the damage was done. The Twitter brainlets have already made up their minds.
I think it goes without saying, but today has been an extremely hard day. I really appreciate your patience as I look into things.
Matty then explained the whole situation and how it came about. The too long didn't read because it's literally a Bible. Matty's editor shared the video with someone, and that person shared it with someone else, and so on, till it ended up on Twitter. Ultimately, I don't even blame the dude. It's his editor that should know better. If it's his job to edit this and know that it's an NDA, you can't be sharing anything. Matty should fire his ass for gross stupidity. Well, here's one part where Mr. Matty says, my heart broke into a million pieces because people basically turned on him. Like, bro, it's woke tards calling you a nut. It's not the end of the world. In fact,
it was Tuesday.
You get used to it because they'll never stop or accept your apology. Speaking of which, they didn't accept his apology. What a segue. Newsflash. The chronically online aren't rational mortals.
Better report them to EA and BioWare, according to Gil or Kala. I don't remember now. They are under NDA to not post spoilers about the game, even during their review time. Starting tomorrow, they are forbidden to show some spoiler things. I say let EA deal with this asshole. This whole friend is likely just an excuse to leak things from his review copy.
Who cares? Who even cares? Sure. Yeah. Mr.Mattyplays leaked the stuff on purpose, and rich people don't pay taxes. There you go.
Agreed, Twitter won't do a thing. but EA is so vicious it almost makes Nintendo blush.
Reddit praying for Mr. Matty to be sued into poverty.
Personally, I'm not buying it. Those leaked images came out a while ago. He had to know it was his rook, and he didn't say anything until it was exposed. You never get review code again.
Why are people this mad? I'm not reading the rest of these, Stu. I'm so sick of it.
Good for you acknowledging your fault and breaking the NDA, but it's not going to cut it. We need an actual apology for the toxicity that's grown on your channel and spread as a result of your editor, and a response about how that will be handled going forward. Name, shame the editor.
Yes, drag out the editor so that we may ruin his life. Do it now, or we will continue to come after you. This generation is regarded. Jesus H. Christ.
Literal vampire potbelly goblin. A hobbling around and coming after us. Like I said, sorry's never enough. When you bow, they take your head. So hold it high, or lose it. I don't care. I've been dealing with these gremlins for years, and I no longer have sympathy anymore.
Not long after Mr.Mattyplays apologized for having an editor with Down syndrome, Grums claimed to have the NDA for Mr.Mattyplays from EA. Immediately, this was refuted by Mr.Mattyplays and Colin Moriarty.
Misinformation like this is damaging to the community. This post is unbelievably false, and it's not the NDA I signed with EA, not even remotely close. The creator of this post even stated they are inclined to believe it's untrue. This is the last time I'll be speaking about this moving forward.
You see what happens, Larry, when you a stranger in the act?
Reviews from the game journalists. They love Dragon Age Veilguard. Game devs love Veilguard. It was a return to form.
This is fine.
CGM 5, you're a game of 5. Xbox era 10, press start 10, 10, 9.5, 9, 9, 8.5, 8, 4 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 3 out of 5.
I've been playing Dragon Age Veilguard completely secretly behind my backpack at the office in front of a giant window in the kitchen. For me, you may be wondering this is the game because the game comparable with my experience of Baldur's Gate 3, so I'll tackle it from the perspective. The answer is yes. It's so heavy. 9-season-long show that is well-made, character-driven, binge-worth Netflix series.
Okay, bro. I'm not even reading the rest of this, because what little I saw made me want to vomit.
But hey, if he likes it, whatever. I'm out of here. A brilliant mix of Xenoblade? Get out of here. Get out of here!
IGN, if we never get another Dragon Age, at least it goes out on a high note with Dragon Age the Veilguard.
At first, IGN gave this a 9, saying it was a high note. It really confused me, till I saw the reviewer.
Team of interesting and endearing companions, of complex, memorable, likable, distinct personalities from across Thedas. I was very pleased with the character designs too. The armor and outfits are fabulous. I spent more than an hour in the character creator. This might be some of the best looking hair I've ever seen in a video game. As a non-binary person myself, Veilguard includes some of the most authentic representation of gender stuff, and having to navigate your family's reaction to it. It doesn't feel like an after-school special or like I'm being pandered to. Finding out that the writer for this character is non-binary themselves did not surprise me at all. If we never get another Dragon Age, at least it got to go out on a high note.
And your fantasies can't ever be quenched, can they? You freaking freaks! When will you learn? When will you learn that your actions have consequences?
Which made it clear that this is a very biased take on the game. Gotta love that dialogue wheel that wants me to establish being transgendered. Weird subject for a fantasy RPG. I wonder if the director and one of the lead writers being trans has anything to do with it. Nah, that's just being bigoted thinking that way. It's not a pattern, it's just a coincidence. It's a logical conclusion.
Guess what happened? Just talked to Natalie, the creator that got a code just by claiming to be non-binary. I asked her what she thinks about the game so far. This is what she has to say. It's a shit game. It's buggy as hell. It's too woke. Very linear. Your choices don't matter.
Lies. The guy who worked on the other video game told me that it was like a binge-watched Netflix series. Oh wait, here's some more reviews.
Gaming checkpoint. Blah, 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 blah. Return to form. PlayStation Universe. Return to form. Digital Trends, return to form. IGN Portugal, return to form. Veilguard is a return to form.
Veilguard is a triumphant return to action RPG, and without a doubt, a return to form for BioWare. Veilguard is a triumphant... Bro, what? That's like literally the same one from Pure Xbox. Oh, well, it's not a pattern. It's a coincidence. You filthy bigot. But oddly, gamers weren't madly in love with the game. Dragon Age at the time was doing a 3.3 on Metacritic. Dragon Age Veilguard leaves us with the impression that we bought the wrong title. Instead of a true RPG, we get a mediocre action-adventure game, a scenario stretched to the limits, a poorly constructed world, and monotonous gameplay. Bored me to tears.
This great game isn't about plays.
This review is full of hate and it's devoid of joy.
I hate myself for buying this. I was stupid. The crazy reviews had me doubt. And I, of course, am desperate for living again a Dragon Age origin experience. But after spending $60 in 5 hours, I can tell this game is a boring button smash fest with brain dead dialogue. I'm so mad at myself.
Oh, will someone please stop him?
Some reviewers known for being fair and balanced never got a review code for the game. Others voiced concerns and shared clips that became memes online. Here's a few tasty morsels for you, but odds are you've already seen these damn clips.
If it wasn't clear enough after Demeter's crossing, it's clear now. They'll rain disease and death across Thedas unless we stop them.
Sounds like your mother was hard on you. Nah. I think your fingers are just perfect.
Yeah. So... are you trying to have sex with me?
Hadn't really thought that far ahead, but maybe?
Quick, think about us having sex. So now we need to figure out if it's cash lock or Tom lock.
And those are...
Cash lock's just flirting. You look and make jokes and maybe think about them for fun. Tom lock is serious. Like you want to grab that and taste its neck right by the collarbone. So which is it?
Oh my god! Stop!
Skillup released a few clips that were damning to say the least. His review wasn't a fluff piece, which resulted into a lot of hate that clearly Skillup was not used to receiving.
People get furious if you don't like the new game at launch. My audience will notice that I haven't attacked anybody for liking Dragon Age, yet I have a ton of furious people in my replies livid that I dislike it. I assume without watching the video that Skillup is facing the same issues. Gen Park, the discourse has drained Skillup of life. And now he
knows how I feel. Cry me a rib.
For me, it was Tuesday.
Telling the truth is the difference between being hated or loved in this game we call content creation. That's why you should subscribe to my channel. Share it. Hit the bell notification.
Do it, women. Do it. Do it now. Oh my god, more clips? Yes, punish them with clips, Stu.
Is a nightmare!
Hey, done.
So, you're a little Kunari, a little Rivani, and a little dragon?
Yeah.
I know, but, sorry. I know I don't need to do it. I just do.
Or maybe it's being a woman, period.
How would knowing that help? It won't change anything.
Some of my friends in Minrathas talk about not feeling comfortable in their own skin. As a man, as a woman. I could see if they'd like to talk. Maybe what they say fits how you're feeling.
Yeah. Okay. And thanks. You do look really pretty.
Oh?
To look at. I'd smudge your makeup.
Thanks for letting me down gently.
Well, aren't you swell? Let me drop my panties right now.
Now I know why lots of studios and their devs were up in arms complaining that Baldur's Gate 3 delivered too much and setting unrealistic expectations.
My God, it's amazing to hear such a thing from game developers talking about a good game like a fat girl talking about a woman that knows how to control her diet.
Role-play in your RPG? What do you think this is, 2009? This is a safe, comforting environment now.
Put a chick in it, make her gay!
Bad. About how I dress, how I act.
And?
It feels right when she says I act more like a man.
No bad thoughts or being a meanie. Or excelling at your job. That's also problematic. It's patriarchy. Hell, it might even be white privilege. Some game developers just aren't that smart, and it's bigoted to do something smarter than them.
More clips to punish you even further.
I could kiss you right now. I'm going to kiss you right now.
At least there's something we might need to. It's your magic.
Rook?
You make the world spin, Lace Harding.
Rook! Lyrium. It's like I'm infused with lyrium.
I noticed it when we touched. That night when we talked about your dreams.
You knew? You knew and you still kissed me?
Wow, I feel drunk.
Writing fit for a Tumblr fanfic with voice acting to match. 10 out of 10. There's so much more, but I honest to God can't take anymore. And I'm not being facetious. With a clear creative rot, endless pandering and preaching to the gamer about gender ideology that flies in the face of the original dark setting, people were ripping this game a new one on Twitter. Dragon Age Veilguard cutscenes, where BioWare lectures players on misgendering, is just as ham-fisted and embarrassing as it sounds.
It's actually worse. Oh God, the pulling the bob scene.
Pounding that snake's nose. She's still holding the ruby in her other hand. Maker's panties. I was so proud.
Oh,
Ah, shit. They're still holding it. Sorry.
What are you doing?
Pulling a barb.
Oh, okay. A barb?
Tradition in the Lords of Fortune from one of our old members, Barv. Good guy, but like most of us, his plans went sideways a lot. Bad blood among your crew's not good for morale, but there's not always time for big, drawn-out apologies. So, when one of us screws up and we know we've screwed up, we do a quick 10 to put it right. Pulling a barb. Oh, there we go.
I'm glad the Lords of Fortune have Tassh's back.
Oh, Tassh isn't the first non-binary member of the Lords.
Really?
It was a little before your time, but Horlicks was one of ours. Huh. Bastard looked better than I did in a dress or pants. And out of them, too.
It's time to stop! Just apologize. It's time to stop, okay? No more!
This scene was so bad, even DSP tried to dunk on it. Then he rambled for 20 minutes and attacked Neil Druckmann for some random-ass reason.
One of my funniest moments of, I remember the year when Dragon Age 2 came out, is out of nowhere. She talks to a character about wanting to sleep with them, and then everyone walks off camera and apparently has like a menage a trois off camera. And then they just come right back like nothing ever happened. Feel-good movement of people saying, I'm going to buy Last of Us 2 just to get, to strike against the bigots. Instead of saying, I'm going to buy The Last of Us 2 because it's a good game. Which, by the way, it is.
Get him out of here.
Get him out of here!
Netizens looked up the writers behind Dragon Age, and they are what you'd expect at this point, as Savvy on Twitter explains.
Want a glimpse into who is responsible for the super quirky and talented writing we've seen so far in Dragon Age Veilguard? What I love most about the writing we've seen is that it truly speaks from an authentic, self-inserting kind of way that is void of nuance in exchange for low-effort, knockoff Marvel humor from someone who substitutes reality for fantasy and fantasy for reality.
Savvy, you can't talk like that as a real woman. Check your privilege.
My name is Laura Kate Dale, and I'm the author of Accessibility and Queer Representation, critic and consultation, and video game critic, streamer, and all-around content creator. Below is a thread of my various projects and how you can support my ongoing work. I just got approved to say I was working on Dragon Age the Veilguard. I've been sat on the secret for nearly 4 years, and I'm so excited to finally be able to tell everyone I'm in the credits. Thank you so much, Patrick Weeks, for reaching out and getting me involved.
Good work, Patrick.
There's a whole rabbit hole on this person, and I'm not getting into it. I'm not making a 2-hour-plus video on this of a video game. I don't care. I don't get paid enough.
You're probably wondering who hired this absolutely talented individual who totally isn't pandering.
No, Savvy, I'm not. Please stop.
Patrick moved off Twitter, deleting his tweets, but he's still pretty active on BS. The narrative designer had the ability to hire above individual who is also writing, and I can't see.
Well, anyway, this dude's a little massive freakazoid. Here's a clip. It was like one of them to look at.
Get yourself some dragon books. Do you like super sexy fantasy romance? Would you like to meet the legendary dragon? Oh my
God.
Consort of Fire and Queen of Dreams are just $3.99 each. Read these, and I want even more horny monsters and badass gods. Order Daughter of Ties on Amazon.
Oh no, it's Paul Tuss.
We'll warn you right now that shortly after the launch of Dragon Age is probably going to be produced the most annoying discourse of the year. These guys are regarding particular quest line.
Yes, if you make fun of a garbage game, you're the problem. Let me talk to you about two dragons, so I can be the normal one in this scenario. By the way,
EA says the game is great, you bigots. Electronic Arts chief says, Dragon Age Veilguard is a return to what made BioWare great.
In another very Reddit moment, Asmongold and anyone that follows his subreddit has been banned from our Dragon Age. Why? Because he had an opinion they didn't like, and anyone who follows him is guilty by association. Oh no! Anyway, our Dragon Age demanded that Asmongold clean his bathroom as penance, and he might be unbanned.
Senator, why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the
On launch day, Grumps posted about GamePro Germany and pointed out the neo-pronouns that was going on. This is true. What he didn't point out was the fact that GamePro Germany gave a rave review of the game, and they didn't really make the pronouns thing out to be a big deal, which you could expect from gaming journalism from any major publication in any other country. The Steam post gives more light of the situation. I went to the German thread myself to look at this, to check out this information, and yes, it was some project lead that was behind it all. They ham-fisted in pronouns into a language that doesn't have pronouns. It's a cluster of epic scale. I then had the translation checked by Lunar Archivist, who speaks German. How the post actually starts out is one topic to rule them all.
Gendering in Veilguard. Yes, they use the Lord of the Rings reference because they're the heroes, and all of us that think this is stupid, newsflash, you're Sauron's forces. Before the game comes out 2 days, the cat is finally out of the bag. Dragon Age the Veilguard is gender neutral. And not just a little bit. It's exactly right game for all the people who get mild heart attacks from gender stars or call-ins. This is a project manager for localization in all languages for this very game. This is, of course, a topic that I know a lot about and that has accompanied me for years. However, it's understandable reason I will hardly comment on it after this post. This is relatively clear to me where such discussions can often lead. I might as well be posting in the political thread.
So basically, they know what they're doing is going to peeve people off, so they did it anyway. So here's Lunar Archivist explaining it.
Just to explain something that you might not understand as an English speaker, in German, you generally have gendered forms of certain occupations or nouns. Kämpfer, fighter, is male, and Kämpferin is female. What this idiot is referring to is regarding gender stars and colons, and the fact that just like you might have condensed policemen to policewomen into police women in English to cover both genders using a strategical placed parentheses, German does the same using colons and or asterisks. So Kämpfer and Kämpferin would be condensed to either Kämpfer in or Kämpferin, which looks absolutely hideous.
This helps clarify what the person in the Steam post was trying to tell us. Basically, the Dragon Age people screwed up German just because they could to push their whole storyline. They couldn't dare possibly translate it normally because then you wouldn't get the message. The trend didn't stop there. Dragon Age also made its own neo-pronouns for the French version. Ironically, I recall watching a political program from overseas where the French described wokeism as the virus from America.
Dragon Age Veilguard is even worse in French. Les, the word doesn't exist. In French, you have to use les for masculine and la for feminine.
So basically, they're doing this to France too. People are not feeling it. I'm not going to waste hours of my life searching for French stuff to confirm this story. So I'm just going to lean on if they did it to German, they'll damn sure do it to the French, and they will do it to the Spanish. I'm not getting into character designs and how Dorian appears to be race swapped. Ain't nobody got time for that long explanation. When the game was released, more cringe clips flowed like wine. The most infamous one being the non-binary table scene. Marshall makes a perfect point about this in his tweet.
Never forget how the Kunari were written to be utterly confused and confounded by the idea of someone could choose to be something other than their birth determination. The very concept was anathema to them and made for a good counterpoint to the more open-minded people of Thedos. Conflict aversion destroys storytelling and world building.
I know what you're thinking, Gundo baby. What about the gameplay? I hear you cry in the chat. Well, Sophia Narwitz started playing Dragon Age and posting clips on Twitter. The puzzles seem to be real brain teasers. This also resulted in someone becoming very upset with Sophia.
You're defensive and angrily replying to a tweet about a puzzle where all you have to do is match a symbol to the other shield that has a symbol. Maybe not the best time to call someone stupid, no? Nobody wants difficult puzzles. Shut the f up. If you want to think for the first time in your entire life, probably, then go and play, I don't know, Sudoku or something like that.
This is a common theme with the current crop of Dragon Age fans that are Alphabet Soup related. Any criticism, no matter how valid to them, is met with anger, derision, and even threats.
Bro, they're smaller and thinner than the heroes. What the f is this? Invisible wall, but those darkspawn always remind me of the Mass Effect husk.
It's an EA game. I wouldn't be shocked if they reused these assets from Mass Effect and changed them to be darkspawn. DICE reused models from all the Battlefield and Star Wars games. Case in point, Battlefront 2, 2042, Battlefield 5.
Searching reviews.
On Steam, it's mostly positive. But if you click on the View More button, the most helpful reviews are all negative ones. So people believe there may be foul play afoot. I'll leave it to you to draw your own conclusions. Then you got Metacritic. The review score is up to 3.9. It was lower before, so it's getting up there. There's a good shot that people could be review bombing Dragon Age on Metacritic. I'm not going to say that it's not possible, and it very much is. There's two groups of people on this, and both sides are passionate and angry and upset. The discourse around this game is soul depleting, the best way I can put it, which I can understand as I try not to be biased, even though I'm pretty sure I come off that way. From another perspective, Dragon Age peak player count is just below 90,000, like 86k or something. Monster Hunters, which is out now on the beta, is doing almost 500,000. That is a huge difference. If I were to be more fair and pick a lesser game to compare to Dragon Age, then we can look at Armored Core. Its peak player count was at 156k though. And Armored Core is not as big as Dragon Age in modern day America. So this could be as good as it gets for Dragon Age. I don't foresee the game doing banger numbers. Maybe people really aren't buying it. Who knows? And maybe the low player count for a AAA game of this scale is a reflection of the game itself. Also, for bad news,
BioWare has no DLC planned for Dragon Age of Veilguard. It has shifted its focus to Mass Effect.
The game just came out. They just rather focus on the next thing to shovelware down you. And ultimately, it doesn't matter. I just have one question for you.
How does it feel to have lived long enough to see all of your favorite franchises go down in flames?
Feels great.
Dragon Age Veilguard is off to a good start amid troll attacks.
Oh, everything's fine. The game's doing just great. What do I know? Adios, bichachos.
No, not the epilogue. Still plot. Still plot.
And they say the game is not woke propaganda. Just discovered this while reading the codex entries. Tassh notes meeting shadow dragons to talk gender stuff. Writing notes to work through gender crap. Showing the rook. For help, maybe. Pretty. Tarkin tough. Both trans. Both open about being trans and said I could share stuff if it helped me on my journey. I did not ask for a journey. Trans means was other gender that changed. No, wait, no. Was always new thing. Just now acknowledged. not changing, affirming. Trans woman is woman, not feeling right in body is dysphoria. Whole big thing. Could feel like
This is oh my god.
These codec entries read like a Tumblr manifesto of a distressed gender warrior on the edge of committing a crime. This is a beloved IP being used by a group of people as a diary or therapy session. If something like this was in Life is Strange, I wouldn't bat an eye. If it was in Dustborn, I would go, that's on brand. But Dragon Age.
How gauche.
See you next time. Come win.
On November 8th, the Chuds won. Jason Schreier was doing victory laps on the 31st of October over Dragon Age being at the top of the Steam sales charts.
Mainly because there's nothing else on sale.
Once the bloom was off the rose and sales dropped lower than high school test scores in America, Jason Schreier immediately deleted his tweet.
Oh no! What happened?
The very next day, GameSpot on YouTube blocked all user comments within 24 hours. What was going on?
I didn't know, and I still don't care.
It was obvious Rome was burning, and no amount of toxic positivity could change that. The Park Place covered the return demand that seems to be facing the game, or I should say plaguing the game.
Unhappy Dragon Age Veilguard players reportedly demand refunds in droves.
Where's my money?
Amazon players that didn't like the game were not pleased. I did check to see if I could leave a review for an item I didn't buy, and surprisingly, this screen popped up. Amazon has noticed an unusual review activity on this product. Due to the activity, we are limiting this product. This proves you have to buy the game to review it and say it sucks, because there are checks and balances in place for review bombing. Basically, at the end of the day, digital buyers have the benefit of returning a game they don't like within 14 days if they only played around 2 hours of the game. But if you buy a physical copy of the game, you're just SOL. GameStop was also burning users, which is a phrase that's not really new or surprising. Veilguard isn't even a week old, and the trade-in value for the game was $22. $70 to $22. That's a bigger drop in value than buying an electric-powered Porsche.
On November 12th, my dog barked.
On November 12th, IGN put out this article after praising Dragon Age endlessly in their review.
Dragon Age of Veilguard is at war with itself. The sequel to Inquisition's Dreadwolf story is trapped in an action game with no interest in the past.
This time around, they pointed out the story inconsistencies, the villain swap, the confusing yet obvious rewrites. Why wait till the game is commercial flop after claiming it was a high note in this series?
If we never get another Dragon Age, at least it got to go out on a high note.
This is some sad attempt to distance themselves while trying to be nice about it, because as we all know, it's an inclusive game. And at this point, the damage is done. But I have a feeling there's another shoe to drop, and IGN doesn't want to be seen as being all in on a sinking ship. And as we all know, rats flee sinking ships. Oh, some member of Kinda Funny that you never heard of had a little mini rant about the game and DEI. So I guess I can leave you with that.
You DEI, because you wouldn't have jobs if DEI didn't exist to complain about. You wouldn't be making money on YouTube if DEI didn't exist. So you're really the ones that need it. Unless your game has only white dudes. If you have a woman, she better be hot.
Yeah.
You know, get an ugly woman out of my game. That lady better be super smoking hot.
Yep.
That's the way they think, right? Back in the day, game development studios were primarily white dudes. And they didn't really think about diversity. And that's one thing, right? It was a lot rarer to find non-white dudes in game development. And as that changes, and as college and learning and all that stuff kind of becomes more ubiquitous and more available for everybody, more and more people from different walks of life want to get into game development.
Yeah.
And then what happens then?
They're making the characters the people that they know, the things that they see.
And it's
just like the white people do.
Just like you put yourself into stories, right?
Yeah.
And I talked about that with Dragon Age Veilguard, how the game director, Corinne Bush, she's a trans woman. And sometimes in games, you just put in your own sort of experiences. And that's so natural to happen.
What brilliant logic. I guess by this sort of metric, Tolkien, he was actually a hobbit born on the Shire, and he really did help the Fellowship get rid of the One Ring, because those are real events that he based everything on. Oh, and J.K. Rowling, she's actually a small boy that has magic powers.
Basically, this sounds like the same thing Jamila Jamil said about She-Hulk Season 1 right before it ended. I'm getting the same energy here. And it's such a great clip where he basically reminds you why gaming sucks now. But he tries to convince you it's a good thing. Very progressive. The game developers of old were creating games. They were meant to be fun. You know, it's a part of it being a game. Not to mention, they came up with new ideas, whereas to the game developers of today, skin suit beloved IPs to use as soapboxes or multi-million-dollar therapy sessions for some privileged human with first world problem. A gaming crash is coming, and gaming journalism is going to be gutted because their core audience is tired of them. In fact, America's tired. We're tired of being spoken down to by some yuppie that went to college that doesn't know how to throw a right hook or get out of debt. We're absolutely sick. We're fed the up. So enjoy the ride, my little latte-sucking friend, because you will be swept away with the changes of the tide. Go write a blog like Alyssa Mercanti, and then post pictures of your ass while you're at it. What a fantastic perk for journalism.